But Jonathan, if there's one thing I suspect you've heard from other people, um, it's your style of presenting Jesus in a way that is so gentle, so winsome, so subtle, so understated, and yet so intensely relatable. My son at the time was 20, but he said, you don't just want to convert. You want to enter into a deep relationship, a close friendship with Jesus because there's humor, there's irony, there's understatement, there's just a winsomeness that you're like, could he have been that way? Of course. How else would he have been? So it's like,
Yeah.
ding, 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 you got a 10, Jonathan. And so grateful because you create this desire. You evoke a response of like, if that's what Jesus was like and still is, a personal relationship with Jesus Christ is something I want perhaps more than anything else. And wow. I mean, again, the gifts of God converge in a way that is semi-spectacular. And here you are getting ready for season 2. And I'm sure I'm putting pressure on, but you already have the grace.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, that's, for a while, I wondered, especially in the beginning, and I still wonder at times, being such a flawed and sinful human being on this planet, and like, how did I end up here, and why am I deserving of this opportunity? I've struggled for many years as an actor here, and I've never struggled with my faith per se, but I've had moments where, as we all do, where I'm questioning God. I'm like, why are you bringing me through all of this if it's not going to amount to something, And essentially, when I was at my lowest, it was 3 months after that moment where the chosen came into my life. And I just, there was I've never really believed in coincidence. I always thought that God sort of ordains certain things to happen in people's lives for certain reasons, and then we're hopefully tasked with trying to understand how whatever happens is in God's best interest for us, whether or not we see it, whether or not we accept it or come to terms with it, but ultimately that He knows better than we do, and it's about trusting Him and trusting those phenomenon, those events in our lives that we sometimes struggle with. And so after I sort of had this reversion, it was about 2 years ago, or a deeper conversion is more accurate, although I'm very fond of the moniker born-again Catholic is always a fun one for me. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm sort of reborn of the Spirit in a way. So as Catholics, we would say it more or less a deeper conversion. I sort of have been able to look back on these different elements in my life and these situations and these early sort of sparks that I think God placed in the kindling of my spirit, and realize that this was something He was planning for me since I'm very, very young, since I'm at least the earliest that I can sort of point to is being 10 or 12 years old, after being so impacted by watching Jesus of Nazareth, the miniseries that became world famous for decades, and after watching Jesus's walk to Golgotha carrying His cross, I literally went outside, built my own life-size crucifix, hammered the nails, painted the blood, and did my own Via Dolorosa in my backyard up through the crucifixion. And I had that memory like surface a few years ago as I was performing the Passion as an adult in my local church, and I said, "Whoa, this is trippy." Like, is this what God has been planning for me all along? And my interest in the arts.
I mean, that's more than a coincidence. That's more than a throwback. Yeah. That really is a kind of preparation, the hand of providence, in a way that no young man would understand what God's plan will be in the years to come. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's been, now everything that happens, and it's like you can't unsee what you've seen. Do you know what I mean? and especially when it comes to truth and when it comes to God's hand in my life. So I can't not view my life through a Christian lens, through a Christ-centered lens. And I now feel that I'm called to try to share that with people, to try to um, create a sense of unity through community as followers of Christ.